Semi-Casual MMA Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome back to another episode of the Semi-Casual MMA Show, albeit from a very different location for both of us. I am currently in my office building because I couldn't use the podcast room today. I didn't book it in time. Where are you at today, Joe?
I'm moving into my new apartment right now, so it's we're gonna get a nice setup soon. It's gonna be more professional.
Congratulations, man! I'm telling you, every episode we keep just moving up. That's all we're doing.
We're moving up.
We got a new laptop coming next week or the week after, so
nice.
Maybe it won't take us 6 hours to get episodes uploaded, but we shall see. But a lot has happened since the last time we spoke, my friend. We had probably one of the best cards I have ever seen this past weekend in UFC London. Some crazy finishes, a lot of great storylines. What was the thing that caught your attention the most this past Saturday?
Man, there's so many great things, man. I would say the Molly McCann knockout, like that was just so unexpected. I knew she was going to go and win that fight. I didn't expect her to win it that way. Obviously, I don't think a lot of us did. But I'm going to throw you a different one. I was really, really impressed with, people are going to knock his opponent, but Sergey Pavlovich, man, I mean, he's going to be a nice heavyweight in the next couple of years, man. I hope he stays active. He wasn't really, the past couple of years due to the pandemic, he hasn't really been fighting. I know Shamil isn't, the Shamil of, 3-4 years ago, but, he just looked so good on the feet. And, whatever people might say about the shots to the back of the head, I mean, when you're not moving and, you're susceptible to those shots, you know what I mean? So I'm very impressed by him. But man, all the Brits, they showed out for that fight, other than Jai Herbert. But that was brutal, man. But yeah, it was a great card, and I'm excited for what's next for this weekend, man.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest takeaway, you kind of brought it up there, was the Jai Herbert Ilia Topuria fight. We found out that Ilia Topuria is not invincible at all, and I understand. He was fighting up a weight class, and he's definitely not built to fight at 155. That's for sure.
But go back down.
I mean, you can say what you want about the fight, but he clearly displayed that he's got a good chin on him. I mean, when he ate those knees, was ridiculous. I thought there were 3 or 4 separate times in that first round that Herbert was just going to lay it all on him, and that would have been it. But, he somehow was able to survive and then just threw a wicked right hand that knocked him out.
Nasty.
I mean, he was down for a while. That was just a crazy finish to the fight. I mean, even the live odds during the fight showed that Topuria was still the favorite going into the second round, which is crazy to me after watching the first round. But, I think it was just incredible the way he was able to turn that around. And, at the end of the day, people remember the results. They don't necessarily remember the fights themselves. So I think for him to, come out and have another finish that he adds to his record is going to be nothing but good for him in the eyes of the MMA fans. But in the eyes of people in that featherweight division, they got to be licking their chops when, before they were running away scared. I mean, he's definitely a beatable fighter. If you can, if you're one of the taller fighters and you can use your length against him, it could be a problem for him in the featherweight division.
For sure. Yep. I agree.
But I mean, there was so many other great things that happened on that card. I mean, the Paddy Pimblett fight, I mean, he looked like he got chinned in the first 15 seconds and then still somehow gets that first round finish. Like you said, the Molly McCann knockout was crazy. I was in the locker room before our biggest performance of the year. We had a performance at Conti Forum in front of 5,300 people. And if we didn't have fights on that day, I don't know how I would have made it through. But we were sitting in the locker room just getting, mentally ready to go. And I was watching that fight. I saw the knockout and just went absolutely berserk. Because that was
it was nuts, man.
That was crazy. Because I missed the first 2 rounds of the fight because we were walking from my dorm to the locker rooms. And I turned the fight on like right at the beginning of the 3rd round. And I was like, oh, okay, it looks like, Molly's not doing too well here. And then for her to just hit that incredible spinning back elbow, I mean, that was textbook. Couldn't have done it.
It was great. It was pure skill too. It was not luck. Like you see her leaning, waiting, and then, oh man, just great.
Yeah, it was incredible. But why don't we transition to this weekend's card, a card that you will actually be in attendance for? Isn't that right, Joe?
I'll be there live this weekend. I'm so excited in Columbus, Ohio. You got Matt Brown repping Ohio on that card. I'm very excited, and yeah, it's gonna be a good night, man.
So why don't we talk about the main event first? Curtis Blades versus Chris Daukaus, a heavyweight matchup. Both guys are, although Curtis Blades did win his last fight, both guys have not seen the best success recently. Chris Daukaus just got absolutely flatlined by Derek Lewis in his last fight, and Curtis Blades had a very boring decision victory in his last time out there. So how do you see this fight going down?
You know, there's a few different takes that I have on this one. I do believe that Curtis Blades is going to win this fight. Though my issue with Daukaus is he has touch power. It's volume. It's, you know, over time it'll get to you, right? And to hurt Curtis Blades and to beat Curtis Blades, you need that one punch power. I'm pretty sure like everyone who watches MMA knows that. He only has 3 losses in the UFC, and 2 of them are to the biggest power punchers. All 3 losses because he faced Ngannou twice. They're 2 of the biggest power punchers in that division, maybe the division's ever seen. So you can't really take much away, you know, from that. But I just believe that Curtis Blades will just wrestle. But I do believe this fight will not go like the Jairzinho fight. Blades has 5 rounds to work. We've never seen Daukaus go past, I believe, you know, he said he's gone 5 rounds in one of his regional fights, but we haven't seen him in the championship round. So I just don't know how he'll be after Blades takes him down several times. So I believe 2nd round, maybe 1st round submission. Curtis Blades, I think he arm triangle choke, or just, you know, ground and pound elbows. He's got vicious elbows on the ground. But yeah, I got Curtis Blades via finish in this one. Just a matter of when he gets it done to me.
Yeah, and I think I definitely agree with you there. I think Curtis Blades will probably just wrestle fuck his way to a victory or find that submission or something like that. But I mean, with Chris Daukaus, he's got a lot of knockouts, but like you said, he's got the touch power. And honestly, his UFC record is pretty padded. You know, his last 2 victories were against Alexei Olenek, who also actually fights on this card.
Yep.
And Abdurakhimov, who both guys are all during the twilight of their careers. And, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, they're great wins to add to the resume because obviously they got the name value there, but I just don't know how good he really is. Because, I mean, you look at his fight against Derek Lewis, and Derek Lewis just starched him. It wasn't even close. You know, I think that Curtis Blades, he's got heavy hands too. You know, I think that
he does.
His wrestling is obviously the thing that he's known best for, but you know, he's got some heavy hands. He's got that knockout power, and I think that, you know, coming off a vicious knockout loss like what happened against Derek Lewis, I think that, you know, it's fraught for danger. You know, for Chris Daukaus here. I don't see a lot of pathways for him to win. I don't see him winning a decision at all because his wrestling isn't close to as good as Curtis Blades.
Yeah, it's finish or bust for him.
Yeah, so, you know, I think it's going to come down to, you know, the cardio issue. If he can make it into those late rounds, you know, is Curtis Blades going to tire out, or, you know, is Curtis Blades going to have the edge there and just find that submission? So, you know, although I do like Chris Daukaus as a fighter, I just don't see him having any route to victory here unless it's by, you know, a knockout. So,
yeah. Another thing to take away with Chris Daukaus is, you know, he got knocked out flatline cold in December. You know, we're in March. I mean, I think about it. I mean, how long has he had to really rest before he got back into training camp, before he got back into sparring, before he got back in the gym? I just believe that this wasn't a good idea for him, especially against Curtis Blades. I mean, it's just, I mean, you think about it. You got Derek Lewis, Stipe, Francis Ngannou, and then Blades. You know, those are probably the 4 best heavyweights in the division. Well, now I guess Tai Tuivasa instead of Derek Lewis, but yeah, I mean, I just think like this is a hard test. I mean, hey, if this was him facing Volkov, or I feel like that would have been a more favorable matchup for him. But yeah, I just don't see Chris Daukaus getting a win here. It's rough. And the line movement on this fight has been insane. I mean, it's just, when I saw on Monday, Blades was around like 300. He's at like 450 now on some websites. So I mean, it's pretty crazy, and people are obviously on the Blade side. So yeah, I just think that's a big takeaway is just, you gotta rest after knockouts like that. You gotta let the brain heal up.
Yeah, and I mean, even for Curtis Blades, because we all know how bad that knockout was, he took a full 7 months off before his next fight.
Right.
And granted, he was fighting another guy who is basically like the Walmart version of Derek Lewis and Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
Yeah.
But Jairzinho has a lot tougher time pulling that trigger as opposed to Derek Lewis. I mean, you saw it in the Derek Lewis fight. Derek said he had trained for that uppercut. He knew he was going to shoot for the takedowns, and he hit him with something strong. But I mean, Jairzinho knew that Blades was just going to come and try to take him down. He knew he didn't want to stand with him. So it's stuff like that just, I think that Curtis Blades is going to be a staple in the top 5 of this division. But unfortunately, I just don't think he can ever break through to, winning that championship. I don't even know that he could perceivably fight for the belt. Cause I mean, you're not going to get a title shot after getting knocked out by Derek Lewis, and then your next 2 wins are Jairzinho Rozenstruik and
Chris Daukaus, right? Yeah.
So, and I mean, there's a lot of action going on with their heavyweight division, or lack thereof, a lot of talking. But you got guys like Tai Tuivasa, who the UFC is going to be behind from a marketing perspective. You got a guy like Stipe, who no one knows what's happening. I mean, it sounds like he's going to be able to fight Tai Tuivasa, and I guess that'll answer some questions about what's going to be next in the title picture, but we just don't know. And then I think I'm just going to give up on John Jones at this point. I don't see him fighting again. And I think it's a waste of time to even
talk about it,
giving him that. So,
yeah, I got you.
But yeah, so I think we're both on the same page here. Pretty comfortable Curtis Blades victory, but it is heavyweight. So, if that line keeps moving and moving, and, I might throw a little flyer on Chris Daukaus because of the big boys,
You could hedge that. I mean, if you think about it, if you like, say you're taking Blades by finish or Blades by decision, I mean, you could throw a little on Daukaus. I'm sure that prop is just ridiculous, and his only way to win is by knockout. So you can hedge that if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if Chris Daukaus comes out and out wrestles Curtis Blades. that would be just incredible. I mean, it's a laughing thing right now, but I mean, you never know. No one thought that Francis Ngannou was going to out wrestle Cyril Gane. So
yeah,
you never know with the 265ers what you're going to get. But why don't we move to some lower weight classes? But I'm going to start with what I think is my best fight on the card, the people's main event of the card. I don't know how it's not the co-main event, but Askar Askarov versus Kai Kara-France. What a fun fight that's going to be. I mean, I think you could make arguments that either one of these guys deserves a title shot if it wasn't for the fact that the division's held up by Davidson Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno fighting for a 4th time. But, we'll definitely get some clarity after this fight. So, how do you see this one going down?
For me, there's like 3 things here. The thing with Askarov is I worry about his weight. Is he going to make the weight cut? How is the weight cut? Is it going to be, depleting him? We don't know. Second thing is, what is Askar going to do if he can't get the takedowns? Kai Kara-France has good takedown defense. So if he doesn't get into the ground, do you think Askar is going to outstrike Kai Kara-France? No. So I think that this fight is going to be one that you might want to look at live, depending on how Askar is doing with his takedowns in the first round. If he can get a hold of them, if he can't, or if Kai Kara-France gets down, gets back up easily. But for me, I like Kai Kara-France in this fight. I think that the odds are way juiced up. I mean, minus 360 for Askarov. I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, Kai Kara-France. I know Cody Garbrandt, doesn't have a chin anymore, sadly, but he's just so fast and he's got power. So I mean, like I said, if Askar can't get him down, I mean, we're talking about a striker versus striker matchup with Kai Kara-France and Askar Askarov. I mean, literally everyone will take Kai Kara-France in that fight. So I'm banking on Kai Kara-France's takedown defense in that one. So and as a fan perspective, I would rather see Kai Kara-France win. I like Askarov, but Kai France is a fun fighter, man. He's a great attitude. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. He's so good. And I like Cody Garbrandt. I was sad when he got knocked out, but Kai's cool. So I got Kai in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think that anytime you have a flyweight with true one-punch knockout power like you do with Kai Kara France, that's something that you got to worry about. And he knows that Askarov is going to be going in for the takedowns the whole time, so hopefully his takedown defense holds up there. I think that Askarov actually will be able to get him down, but like you said, if it stays on the feet, Kai Kara France is going to knock him unconscious. I just don't see any scenario where if it's just a strictly striking match where Kai Kara France doesn't at least get the decision, let alone the knockout. So,
yeah,
we'll see what ends up happening with that one. But, I'd like to see either one of these guys, fight for the belt next after this one, regardless of their performance. I think they're both deserving of that. We've seen things like the Magomed Ankalaev fight where he should be next for a title, but his fight was so boring that no one wants to see him in that spot. But, these are two guys who have, been around for a little bit, and I think that they both deserve it. You can't deny that. And, who else in that flyweight is there in that flyweight title picture? You just don't really see anybody else. So, I think it's going to be.
It's them and Pantoja.
Yeah.
But Pantoja keeps getting hurt, so we don't know. So, but yeah.
Yeah, so pulling for Kai Kara France there, but we'll see. It's gonna be a fun fight. Cannot believe that is the fourth fight on the main card.
Not even the featured fight.
Yeah,
not even the featured fight.
That is just crazy, man. I mean, I get it, but Matt Brown, Brian Barberina, that'll be a fun fight for sure.
That could be a feature fight, but I mean, no disrespect to Joanne Wood and Alexa Grasso, but Kai Kara France and Askarov is almost a number one contenders fight. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. The card placement's very odd. We have Ir Latifi and Alexei Olenek on the main card. So,
I mean, that one I think is going to be a finish one way or the other, just because
I hope so. I hope so.
I can't take another UFC card with a boring heavyweight fight that they think, because every time they make the same mistake. They think that, if we just throw a couple of the heavyweights on there, they'll have a nice finish in the main card. Get everyone ready to go. No, it never happens. It never works out like
Alan
that.
Badeau.
Oh
my God.
So bad. I can't.
Bad.
And especially when on certain cards where there's so much momentum coming from the prelims, and then to just have it halted by just having two walruses.
I fall asleep, man. I fall asleep.
It's terrible. So I'm hoping either Latifi knocks him out quickly, or Olenek gets, some sort of submission in the first round, so we can just move on to the fun fight that's coming up right after. But for another fight on the card that I want to talk about a little bit is Mark Diakise versus Slava Borshev. How do you see that one going down? Did you look at that fight at all?
I did, yeah. I mean, Borshev is great, man. His contender series knocked out, and he knocked out a real guy. He knocked out a really good fighter. Most of those contender series bouts, you're not really facing UFC caliber talent, but that guy, I mean, if you give him the right matchup, he probably would have. Chris Duncan probably would have gotten signed if he fought someone lesser. Borshev's a killer, man. He's got his last fight against Dakota Bush, I had Dakota Bush in that fight. I thought Dakota Bush looked good in that fight up until obviously the body shot folded him like a lawn chair. It's over. I got Borshev. DKZ in his last fight got quick guillotined. Just bad mistake. I don't know how you can make that mistake at this point, in your career. He's a veteran of the game. DKZ was a very great prospect on the rise. But his last two fights against Rafaels, Alves and Fiziev, he hasn't looked like, his former self. And I believe that pressure from Slava Claus is going to be too much for him. And I think the Slava Claus is a take one to get one kind of guy too. I don't think Mark will be able to take one from Slava. So I got Borshev in that fight, and I like the odds, man. -160 for Borshev.
Yeah,
I mean, give me that.
On my book earlier today, it was at 145 for Slava, and I'm
wow, money's coming in on DKZ then. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why the odds are like that is just because Slava Claus is so. I gotta stop saying Slava Claus.
It's better.
He's only had 7 fights. Diakise has had several UFC appearances, and I think they just think that, experience is gonna help Diakise in this fight. But I think that Slava's the real deal, man. I mean,
I
it's
do.
very, very rare
Comes
that
out of a good camp too.
say that again.
He comes out of a good camp too. He trains with Uriah Faber and those guys.
Yeah, I remember Uriah
Alpha male.
after the Contender Series fight, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm hoping for the best for him. I think he's a great personality, and I it's very hard for me to like any of the Russian guys, but if I'll make an exception.
He's fun.
Yeah, I'll make an exception for Slava Claus here. But any other fights on this card or this weekend catching your eye, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like I said, we were talking about the card, the fight placements on this card. Neil Magny, Max Griffin, not on the main card. I mean, that's Neil Magny is a veteran of the game. Max Griffin, somewhat of a, yeah, I guess you would say he's a veteran. He's been coming along recently. I think he got 3 straight wins. But he's 6-6 in the UFC. He's not doing too great, but I mean, this is make or break for him. I mean, believe it or not, he's older than Neil Magny, which is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
But Neil Magny, that's going to be a nice fight. I believe Neil Magny might be able to finish him in that fight. I got Neil in that fight, but he might be able to finish him, tire him out in the third, get a nice sub or something. I don't know. It's just my what I think is could happen in that fight. I don't think Max Griffin has the power to get Magny. He's got power, but not enough. Neil Magny's gone against some killers, man. Dominated the Leech. He's got better power than Max Griffin. So I believe Neil Magny will be able to stay on the outside, be able to grapple with him. And then very quickly, I mean, Mateus Nicolau and David Dvorak, the second fight of the night. What?
It's ridiculous.
What?
It's ridiculous.
I feel like we got more ranked fighters on the prelims than we do on the main card. I mean, it's ridiculous to me, and it's ridiculous to me. But yeah, that's going to be a banger of a fight, man. I mean, Dana Becquerel, I'm sorry, Mateus Nicolau. Sorry, people believe that Manel Kape didn't, Manel Kape won that fight against Mateus Nicolau. I thought it was very close. I didn't think it was like a robbery per se because it was close. You know what I mean? And David Dvorak is he's looking like a prospect, and this is his biggest jump in competition. So I'm excited to see if he can make or break this opportunity. And then I mentioned Dana Becquerel because I'm just so excited for that fight. but yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm keep going on. There's so many good fights on this card. It's sneaky good, and people don't need to like don't look at this card and think, oh, it's it might be bad or no names, whatever. This is a good card. Not as good as last week, but this card will be full of fun fights for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna guess right now that you will not be like some of the lame UFC fans that don't show up until the main card. You will be there right.
Oh, I'm there. I'm there right when the doors open. What is that? Like 2:30? I think an hour and a half before it'll start, dude. I'm gonna get down there and take some pictures. Hopefully, meet a few people. I'm hoping to meet John Anik. That would be dope, dude. So, but yeah,
on the podcast.
Yeah, him and Kenny Florian, dude. I mean, yeah, the MMA community is great, dude. Like they're so nice. I went to a Bellator event last year, and I mean, I met so many people there. Henry Cejudo, Ali Abdelaziz. It's just like, come on, yeah, I know. Khabib, yeah, Kelvin Gastelum. I met so many people. Royce Gracie, John McCarthy. It was great. So I'm hoping that hopefully meet a couple people.
Yeah, I mean I think you're gonna have a great time at this card. I will say my low-key banger for the weekend, just so I can make myself feel a little bit better, since you won't be able to see this fight, is Rodtang versus Demetrius Johnson. I don't know about you. I totally forgot that this fight existed until a little bit earlier today when I started doing my research. And what a fun fight that's going to be. I mean, it's a custom rules bout. The
mixed rules,
between Muay Thai and then into MMA, or maybe it's vice versa. But what a fun fight that's going to be. The main card for that starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I might pull an all-nighter tonight. I might.
I can watch that fight. I mean, I work tomorrow, but I'll have that plan. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing is, it's just those one championship cards are so early in the morning. So,
hey, that's how Australia is with us,
Yeah.
Then England's 5 hours away or 5 hours ahead too. So
I guess we're the ones that are spoiled. So I guess it's only fair
we are
on a couple of the
exactly.
Fights,
I don't complain.
But yeah, I mean that whole card is just unbelievable. They got Angela Lee returning. They got Adriana Moraes fighting for the flyweight belt again, and then they got Rodtang versus Demetrius Johnson. I was trying to find the odds for that fight online, but I just couldn't
They
find
don't.
them
They don't.
anywhere.
They don't have them. They don't
Yeah,
have them
it's crazy. And I mean,
anywhere.
it makes sense because there's so many questions in that fight just because of, you know, how good Rod Tang is, but he's so young. Does he have those MMA skills? Can he wrestle? And then, you know, you got Demetrius Johnson, who got viciously knocked out last year.
I was shocked.
Yeah. I mean, that was, I think that really put on the map Moraes for a lot of people. I mean, the odds for that fight, I think by the time it closed is like -600 for Johnson, which was,
was it 600? Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Which, looking back on it, is just like crazy to think about given his performance in that fight. And, you know, I think that it's just going to be a really fun card. I love the one championship cards just because it's not strictly MMA. You know, you get some Muay Thai in there, you get some kickboxing in there, and, you know, it's just some really exciting stuff. I mean, I know they had a card 2 weekends ago where what was his name? It's gonna kill me. But John Lineker just destroyed someone. It was the hardest punch I've ever heard. I don't know if one championship.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The mics that they have inside the cage, but for some reason, every punch, every knee, every kick in one championship just sounds 10 times louder. So you know,
in the bell when they ring the fight. Oh my god, it's so funny. It's like so like 1960s boxing. It's so funny.
And I personally think that they got a great ring announcer as compared to a lot of the other promotions. I mean, I think Bellator does a terrible job with that. I think that I'm not gonna get into that. I don't want to hate. I don't want to hate, but
I'm
fine with hating, but because it's like my favorite part of the main event besides, you know, a finish is Bruce Buffer going out there and getting everyone riled up. I mean, he had one of his all-time intros for that main event this past weekend in London. You could tell he was feeding off the energy of the crowd, and it really gets everybody ready to
Columbus this week.
Say that again?
Columbus this week. I hope he's in Columbus this week.
Yeah, I would want my money back if I went to a UFC event and Bruce Buffer wasn't there.
Oh my god, if Joe Martinez is there, dude. Oh my god.
I didn't even want to say his name. The fact that people actually are out there and they're like, Joe Martinez is the better of the two just baffles me. I mean, it's how fight fans, let the world know you are ready. Shut up, buddy.
Like, dude, come on, man.
Just announce the fighters and let them get to fighting. Like, I don't want to hear your voice. So, you know, I mean, but yeah, the one championship card, if, you know, depending on how many hours it takes for this podcast to upload, maybe the fights have already happened, but, you know, we will see on that one. But why don't we transition to everybody's favorite segment, best bets. Last week, I know you hit a crazy parlay, something like $50 for like 1,100,
1,200.
Oh
yeah, three dogs.
You and I bet on
2 favorites.
You and I bet on very different scales, my friend. But you know, I mean, just hitting a parlay of those odds is just crazy. And you've done it before. It's not your first time.
We got it this weekend too.
Oh, we got it. Let's hear it then. Let's hear it then.
No, you got it. You on Saturday. I'll post it Saturday. You got to wait.
Okay.
I wait until like the day of. I don't want to jinx anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. I mean, I got some like straights today. I really like Neil Magny. I know you're paying a lot for the juice, but if you don't want to do that, I mean, if you parlay him with Mano Ferro, gosh, I can't pronounce that French name, and then Curtis Blades. You're getting near. I think you actually know you might be getting plus money on that. So Magny, Blades, Firo. I feel like that's a lock, essentially. And then if you want to take some risk, I think Nicolau and Souza are pretty good straight bets. I like David Dvorak a lot, but like I said earlier, I mean, Nicolau is always in close fights, you know what I mean? And he always seems to edge out split decision. So I mean, like, if you're giving me him for plus, I mean, I dog money, I'm going to have to take him. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Mateus Nicolau and Bruno Souza. Bruno Souza, he's like a Machida prodigy. Oh my, I love that karate style. Might not be effective as much as, you know, it was, you know, back then, but man, it's a fun style to watch. So I believe he gets that done against Saldana. And then on the main card, I like Borishev. I like Kai. I really like Latifi, even though it's like, who says that? Like, I don't know. Like, it really says a lot about the opposition when I'm like, oh, I really like Ir Latifi to win this fight. Yeah. And I believe in the end, Matt Brown will feed off the crowd and somehow get a victory here. And it might be his last fight, so I like Matt Brown at pick'em too as well. So that's a lot, but hey,
there you go.
that's what we're here for.
We got to keep the hot hand here. I mean, last week I went, I believe 7-1, and then the only bet that I got off was on Takashi Sato, where
that was my bad.
Yeah, I want my $5 back.
My bad, bro.
No, I threw a little $5 on there, and hoping that I get the 4-1 payout, because I mean the odds were crazy.
Gun shy. He was so gun shy.
Yeah, that was
don't even get me started.
But yeah, for my best bet of the weekend, I have a little parlay. It's the Don't Overthink It parlay with Curtis Blades, Ilya Latifi, and I'm definitely gonna butcher this one, Kizriev.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so it's those three guys. You parlay them right now, you're getting them at plus 150. Obviously, the books start to inflate those odds a lot more as you get closer.
I was just about to say the Kizriev fight earlier this Monday when I placed mine. I think I got him at minus 345. He's at minus 700 right now.
Yeah.
Like what? Like that's just ridiculous to me. People are going to be jumping on the opposition. I mean, if you're giving plus 500 on an unproven fighter, I mean, I feel like you might have to take a stab. But yeah, I do like Kizriev in that fight though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of those ones where it's the tale as old as time. I make a parlay with, the heavy favorites that I think are going to win. And then there's one upset. It's always the one where it's the biggest underdog that wins, and it ruins the whole parlay. But, we're not going crazy with the units on that one. 1 unit to win 1.5, get those odds while you still can. But, I just don't really see any of those guys losing that fight. The only one I guess is up for debate would be if, Latifi gets submitted quickly, but even
he's got no neck, and his only way to get submitted is like a choke. So I don't see it. Yeah.
So hopefully all three of those guys can get in there and get them out. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're all heavyweights too. So, I'm rooting for, do I have that one right? I think I got that.
No. Yeah. Kizriev isn't. He's 185.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no,
either way, they're all some big boys. So
Kizriev is a big dude.
Yeah. Hopefully the big boys can get it done for me here. But any other bets you want to put out there for the people, Joe?
No, that's it. I mean, follow me on Twitter. I mean, you might be able to see something. I post props like, once the day happens. I wait for the lines. I look and I sometimes go with the live, how I'm doing for the night. So yeah, follow me on Twitter at Simon on my Rex, and hopefully you'll be able to see my bets. Yeah.
There you go. Hell of a Twitter handle right there.
Yeah, I know. That's my favorite actor, bro.
There you go. Well, all right. Well, we're going to call it an episode here. Let's hope we cash on all of our bets. I hope you have a great time at UFC Columbus. I can't believe that, you're the lucky one that gets to see the fights first for the UFC this year, but hopefully,
for fight nights. Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully with things easing up, they'll have an event up in Boston, and maybe we can get you out here and have us.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Get the boys together, maybe put some interviews out there, get some coverage on the ground. Oh
yeah, get some credentials.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main goal. Like I said, we keep moving up. We're about like 3 or 4 episodes away from getting the media pass.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
But all right, we'll catch you everybody later. Have a good one, everybody.